The Texas fertilizer plant explosion is to be probed by the Senate. Now, I've talked about this on I've talked about this on our YouTube channel before about this explosion. Like, we literally broke news, and we were the first, YouTube news agencies, to sort of have a conversation about this explosion, and how crazy it was, and the fact that it was going on, and news breaking developments. But now this case is making its way to Washington for good reason. Nearly 2 weeks after the massive explosion at the West Texas fertilizer plant took at least 15 lives and destroyed entire neighborhoods, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are starting to call for investigation into the government's workplace and chemical safety regulation to determine how they might have prevented the disaster from happening. Well, the first thing could have done is inspected the plant, since it hasn't been inspected since 1985. But I digress. On this coming Tuesday, Senator Barbara Boxer, the chair of the Senate's Environment and Public Works Committee, announced that the committee will be probing the blast specifically on the chemical safety law, and more generally, though no date has been given on when this hearing will happen. And, I got to give props to Senator Barbara Boxer on this one, because I think she's right to have this conversation, right? Because we need to make sure that all of our chemical plants are safe, and this needs to be the beginning of the end of this type of explosion. Same goes for when the explosion happened on the Deepwater Horizon. These things need to stop. They endanger lives, and we can solve these problems if we made sure they were properly regulated. And Republicans in Congress continue to talk about why we don't need regulations, and regulations aren't the answer, and blah, 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 blah. But clearly, if we had more regulations and more regulators, the Texas plant explosion would not have happened, and 15 lives would have been living today. It's just the truth, America. You want to save lives? That's the job of the government. The job of the government is to make sure there's an equal playing field. People are safe. That's the equal playing field. We're breathing clean air, drinking clean water. We're going to safe workplaces. We're living next to safe fertilizer plants. Common sense, right? I guess not in Texas.